Hi everyone, this is Carolina. Thank you so much for joining me today on my first video in my video series, which is how to tie ribbons and bows and different ribbon treatments that you can do with all types of ribbon. Today I'm starting off with this yummy ribbon. It's a combination of silk and satin by May Arts, and I'm having a huge shipment coming in shortly, so I'll be sharing more of those as I continue the video series. But for today, let me start off with a bow that I get the most questions on my blog and on over at different forums. It's one that I learned how to make from my grandmother. So let me just start off with that. You want just a strip of ribbon. I usually like to keep it on the spool because I don't like to waste anything, but for video purposes I just went ahead and cut off a piece. And this is how I position my hands. And then you want to just take it and make 2 loops. So there's your little loops. Bring down your fingers a little bit. You're going to put one in front of the other, and you're going to see this little hole you're creating here. You're going to take your back loop, beat it through, and then you're going to take your tail, bring that forward. Okay? So this is pretty much what you'll end up with. It's fine if you like that. I particularly don't care for it, so I kind of just like to fold it so I have a nice fold in the middle. And this is the best time to kind of manipulate your ribbon when it's still kind of loose like this. You kind of just want to fiddle around with it until you're happy with it. And trust me, it can go on, so I'll just leave it. Okay, so this is it. And now I just want to show you what it kind of looks like when you first finish it. Now I'm going to show you how to then manipulate a little more. You're just going to take the ends and kind of pull it. Decide on the ribbon, or I'm sorry, on the loops. The size of the loops that you want to make, and just pull tight. Don't be afraid. The ribbon is pretty, it'll hold its own. Okay, and then to make my puffy loops that everybody keeps asking me, how did you do the puffy loops? Well, you'll laugh because it's really so easy. I just put my finger in here and just puff them out. My fingers actually. And then same thing with the other. And I love this type of ribbon because it is quite forgiving, as you can see, and it lets you kind of just do whatever you want to it. Okay, so that's where we're at now. You're done with your loops, but your tails are just as important because I think you need them to have a nice finished look, to give you that finished polish that you want on your cards or projects. Let me pull this aside for a little bit and show you. This is one of my favorite ways to finish my ribbons, with what they call it a V. Right here. And another way is just to cut it at an angle. You can cut it this way or you can cut it this way, really up to you. Okay, so let me show you with this one, and this is just, I'm going to cut it at an angle. This is the one I was telling you about, just at an angle. So you can either go with your scissors from the bottom end to whatever you want, and you can make your V as small or as large as you want, and then you would just do the same thing on this side. Okay. Now, if you want to go in the other way, you would then just turn your scissors this way. And same with this. Whatever. It's really your preference, however you want to cut it. And then again, you can puff out your bow. I like to, the other question I get a lot is how do I adhere my bows? I prefer glue dots, personally. If it's a 3D project, I tend to use sticky strip or double-sided tape. It tends to stick better, especially with 3D projects, since they're constantly being moved. So anyway, so the V. Okay, this one was my grandmother's favorite, and I think that's why I tend to use it a lot, just because that's what she taught me. So she taught me how to finish my bows. Okay, so this one's a little small, so we'll work with it. But basically on the tails, you're going to kind of just put your loops to the side. You're going to take your tail and fold it in half. Okay. Now, if you're working with silk or satin, sheer ribbon, and so it'll tend to move on you. So I like to just kind of crease a little bit. Then you're going to take your scissors, and then you can decide how big or small you want your little V's to be. Let me bring that one back. So here it's just a nice little cut. I like to have mine, actually it really depends, to be honest with you, just on my mood and my project. So that's all. Then you have your V. And you would do the same thing to the other side. And then you'll end up with this little ribbon right there. Okay, so That's it. That's my first video on how to tie my classic bows that you see on my cards a lot. And I'm so glad you stopped by. And then I will be putting them up, I think, probably once every 2 weeks or so. But if I can get them done sooner, then I'll definitely be posting those. And I have so many other fun ones in mind and waiting for that ribbon order to come in. Thank you so much and have a great day.